Aston Bay Holdings is a Canadian copper and zinc exploration company advancing the Storm Copper and Seal Zinc projects on Somerset Island, Nunavut. We are listed on the TSX-V, trading under symbol BAY. This corporate presentation features Aston Bay's CEO Benjamin Cox discussing the company at the Cambridge House Resource Investment Conference on September 12, 2013 in Toronto.
Okay, Aston Bay. What do we got? We got a lot of copper. How much? We don't know. We're pre-resource. We're 20 kilometers from Tidewater, Nunavut. Our best hole that we've reported historically is 110 meters at 2.45%. On the hole, we've got a lot of copper. We've got 4 zones. We believe this project's material. With our Orning background, we spent a lot of time looking at probably 500 copper projects over 4 years finding it, so we're relatively sure that we like it. If we didn't, we wouldn't have bought it. I'm a finance guy. My last job was at a little hedge fund called D.E. Shaw. And we also have a few other geologists on the team that are quite good, Mike Dufresne and onwards. We're a new company. We IPO'd in May, and we got a very tight share structure. To put us in perspective, management has bought, since we've IPO'd, probably over 1.3, 1.4 million shares. We're willing to buy our own stock. We like our own company. We're not particularly in a rush from that perspective. Why do we like copper? We like copper because mine grade is going to hell. The average mine grade for a copper mine was in the 0.75% range in the 90s, and it's now down below 0.5%. From a production perspective, that means that basically 6-7 million tons of annual copper production each year has disappeared, and that is continuing. As grade erodes, current mines produce less, and fundamentally demand has not gone down since 95. Demand has gone up massively. So copper is fundamentally a massively scarce commodity. It's one of the only commodities that we're really genuinely scarce on. Now, why would you like our project? This is most of our competitors. I think we're missing 3. The average TSX junior or mainboard copper non-producer is about 0.35%. Our average assay is 1.8. Our intersections are real, 100 meters, 50 meters, 30 meters. So we are substantially higher grade than the average junior, and we think grade matters because the fact is grade translates into much, much lower cost mining. Location. This is the negative. We're in the Arctic. But we're not in the bushy, negative, boggy Quayton. We're in high Arctic desert where Polaris is operated, where Navicific is operated, we're 20 kilometers from Tidewater, we're in an Arctic area that mines have operated in for decades and people know how to operate. So we're not talking about ice roads and all those things. Stuff gets dropped on our project for 75 grand by the sea lift. And that's a heck of a lot cheaper place to operate than a lot of the world. Back to the copper. So Teck-Cominco had this project. They wanted 40 million tons of 4%. That was their internal estimate. Project is never going to have that within 100 meters of surface. Guarantee you, we're not going to have that. So if you're looking for super, super high grade, as defined by the 90s, these are not the glory days. Our view, however, is we still have intersections that are amazing. 1.3% over 53 meters. 1.8% over 22 meters. These are copper grades. This isn't a world where copper grades are 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Yes, we don't have a porphyry that's massive. Geotech. I'm not a geologist, so I'm not going to talk to that much. Tech's fundamental view on this project was it was flat-lying. It had no depth. The people we bought this project off of through a VTEM. The VTEM shows that where there's copper at surface, there's also a VTEM signature that goes straight vertical. So either this thing's only 100 meters thick like Tech model is, or it goes to 500 meters. It's your lottery ticket. At 100 meters thick, this is nice for a small mining company. At 500 meters thick, this is nice for a private yacht for me. So what do we like about this? We like about this that we've got 4 targets. Each one of these would be a mine on most people's projects. This is one heck of a VTEM. It's even more of a VTEM when you look at the cross-section cutting. Stuff at surface is 1 to 2%. Remember that. That's a little green scrum on the top. This VTEM signature gets stronger at depth. Now either we're sitting on top of the biggest pile of carbon, or a saltwater ocean directly on top of the ore bodies or something, or there's something there. But it could be all sorts of things besides copper. But so far, everything on the surface is nice green malachite. So I'm kind of happy. What do we got? We got beautiful bloom. Doesn't look nearly as pretty on that screen, but it's really pretty. It's even more fun to stand on top of it. We got lots of unsampled core, and we know what we have. So what's the one thing I've technically not talked about? We got this weird zone called the 3500 zone, which is back here. You can see it all the way on the left. No VTEM signature, but still had a hole of, I think, 100 meters of 0.81% copper. There's a whole bunch of this region where you land the helicopter, you bend down, and wait, there's copper in the boils. The soils show up with copper, yet there's no VTEM signature. So don't think there's just copper where the VTEM is. Strangely, there seems to be copper in other places. And by the way, I've got like 5 really good geologists working for me, and they cannot agree on what the bloody formation is. So don't ask me what the genesis of this is. None of the geologists can agree. There's just copper there, and that's what I like. And that's a finance guy speaking. My geologists, luckily, are not in the room, or else they'd be strangling me at this moment. There's also a zinc project on the backside, little 2 million ton project, 300 meters from the ocean. You can see the zinc bleeding into the ocean on the top left side. You can see the ocean. This is a nice little project, and it's a good little thing that we can do on the side. This year we're doing very little. The fact is, money is very, very hard to get for exploration plays, and we're an exploration play. Even with 10,000 meters on the ground, we are still an exploration play. So we are doing little bits of money. Now the upside we have of that is we went to Tech Cominco, and we got our hands and knees and gave them 10% of our company, and they gave us the database. Now we're taking that database, which has not been cleaned up for 25 years, and we're cleaning it up. And we got a lot of releases coming out. So our last release, we released the 2200, 2700 zones and came up with some really cool data out of that. Lots of intersections. We're going to, over the rest of the year, release the rest of that data as we analyze it, and we think we got a lot of really nice stuff to show. So we're going to do a lot of that. Longer term, we got to drill it, but unlike some people, I'm not going to blow the company up to get a drill program going in the worst market ever. When the market comes back a little bit and we can actually raise some real money, we'll get a drill turning and we'll further explore this thing. But right now, we've got 15,000 meters of historical drilling between both projects that we got to analyze. We've got a lot of historical data we got to analyze. We're cleaning things up. We got a tight share structure. We sort of know what we're doing, and we're patient. And my biggest point to you is when you're looking at exploration plays, look for management that's patient. The final thing that my geologists want me to point out is that I'm the cheapest person they've ever worked for. So money we get, we treasure. We respect your money. And we put it into the ground. That's where money should be going. That is pretty much all I've got, and I'll leave it at that. I might have time for a question or two. The deepest drill holes we have, they drilled a couple holes at angles at 200 meters. The deepest drill hole we have, the sill hit mineralization is at 100, but it was drilled at an angle. So we have mineralization drilled to depth at 100 meters. Average hole was 70 meters. Average, which means a lot of holes were a lot shallower than that.
On behalf of Aston Bay Holdings and our CEO, Benjamin Cox, thank you for watching. To download this presentation and for more information about the company, please visit our website at astonbayholdings.com.